We meet again, Wanderer of Arcane.
You're different from the other shadows.
Because I have awareness of everything around me? You could say that.
I've seen more like you. They were locked in a prison. I tried to talk to them, but they were not lucid.
Nor will they ever be as long as they're there. For many of them, that's not where they belong. In their correct rooms, they would be more lucid, as you say.
So I just need to free them?
You can't release them, it would be impossible for you. The tower won't allow it. They're too entrenched in their memories.
And you think that some bars will be a huge impediment?
What imprisons them may seem to be metal bars easy for you to bend and destroy, but I assure you, it's much more than that. Each place is a whole existence by itself. It's the very concept of a prison which contains them.
So there's no way?
I didn't say that. I said it was impossible for you. But why are you interested? Do you have some relationship with any of them?
A few seem to have relevant information for us.
Interesting. I think I'll help you with this. It may be worth contemplating what will happen.
Can you do it?
Every gate has an exit. Every prison a way out. Just as there are doors, there are also keys in the tower. I can open them. Here's one. It will open any door, but only one. Like I said, they're more in Arcane. You only need to find them. But it would be better if you were both very careful when choosing which prisoners to release. Not all of them tell the truth. Not everyone deserves to be imprisoned. Not everyone deserves to be freed. Choose well. It will bring consequences. And even if you find all the keys, in the end, one door will remain locked. Now go. I'm done talking.
Babe, these seals, they are linked to the paintings.
Yes, there must be something in them.
Two more.
We don't have any fragments of memories left. Naskal entered the hall where the Council of Brax was taking place. The greatest artists and creators of the world met once every decade under those walls. Different civilizations, even non-human creatures were there to show the wonders they had created over the years. Naturally, only the very best could attend, those whose fame had crossed all frontiers. For many of them, just having been invited represented an honor, but to Naskal, it was quite the opposite. They should feel honored by his attendance. The puppet master walked through the room, trying to pass unnoticed. He paid little attention to several uninspired works that only reminded him of why he was superior to everyone else. Naskal smiled ruefully. Although he did not expect too much from others, he had wished to find something to at least rival with his talent. Lost in those thoughts, a distant word caught his attention. Someone had mentioned Gaudamus, the creator of wonders, whose fame had reached even Naskal's ears. Apparently, he had also been invited, and a group of people were talking to him not too far away. Interested by his fame, Naskal approached him to share some anecdotes with a fellow genius. To his surprise, the legendary creator was much younger than he had expected, and was quick to shake his hand and exchange a polite greeting. Naskal was about to ask about the works he was exhibiting in the council, when the whole room became silent. Everyone whispered that Gaudamus had just arrived. At that moment, the confused Naskal understood what they meant, and a chill of terror ran through his spine. The person he was talking with was not a living being, but a doll. Work of Gaudamus was what he had heard the people say before. Even if it was only for a moment, the mere idea that he had not noticed such a thing overwhelmed the mind of the puppet master. Frantically, his eyes began to gaze closely at all the works exhibited by Gaudamus. The mere sight of them burned his retinas, but at the same time, he was unable to look away. The feeling of anxiety that oppressed his chest grew until it became pain. He even had trouble breathing in the same room that stored such wonders. Unable to wait any more, he staggered out of the room and did not stop running until he was outside. Then, Naskal cried and laughed as hard as he could. He had been blind all this time. In his egotism, he thought he was on top of the world when he was only standing on a small hill. Only in that moment did he realize that his work was far from having reached its full potential. That night would change his life completely. He would create greater works. He would surpass Gaudamus, surpass them all. From that moment, his obsession would be perfection. Naskal suddenly awoke. For months, he had been unable to sleep well, and that night had been particularly bad, something which he blamed on the emotion of being so close to finishing his work. Washing his face, he noticed how terrible he looked in the mirror, and thought that very soon he would have to be ready to return to society. Naskal was unsure of how much time had passed since he had visited the Council of Brax. After that night, he invested his vast fortune in creating a secluded mansion away from the civilized world. A huge and well-equipped workshop in which he could devote body and soul to his work, free from distractions. It had been years, or maybe even decades, since the last time he had contact with another human being. But loneliness meant little to him. All that mattered was that he was close to reaching his goal. Over the years, just improving his creative talent wasn't enough for Naskal. His goal was much higher. He devoted day after day to research the same process Gaudamus developed to make his works, becoming an unrivaled expert in lost science and supernatural rituals. With such unusual tools, he managed to create countless animated puppets, which were able to move by themselves, the very ones that now protected his mansion and took care of its maintenance. But they were all just prototypes for his definitive work, the ultimate puppet. An artificial being so perfect, it would not be aware that it was not alive. Naskal solemnly went down to the heart of his workshop, where his most valued masterpiece waited for him. On the table was a body. Any observer would think without a doubt that it was a true human being. It had the same appearance as its creator, as identical as 2 drops of water. The master puppeteer smiled. In his next encounter with Gaudamus, it would be his marionette that greeted him. An ironic joke that only he would be able to understand. After reviewing the status of the project for hours, Naskal determined that it was only a matter of days until it was finished. Only a few pieces were missing, which should be stored in his secondary workshop. With unusual anxiety, he walked to the north wing in search of them. It had been a long time since he had visited that area of the mansion, and he was not even really sure of why he stopped going there. Upon entering the room, the master puppeteer was struck by the terrible state of the place. He didn't remember having forsaken it for so long. Without giving it too much thought, Naskal walked to where the pieces were stored, but he saw something in his way which puzzled him. There, sitting in the workshop, was a corpse, holding the parts Naskal had come for. His flesh, rotted and dried, was in pretty bad shape, suggesting that it had been in that place for a long time. Surprised, Naskal approached to examine the body, but before he could do so, the puppet master became completely paralyzed with terror. Because, despite being worn and wasted, there was no doubt. The corpse had exactly the same face as him. Naskal suddenly awoke. For months, he had been unable to sleep well, and that night had been particularly bad, something which he blamed on the emotion of being so
One more.
You shouldn't be here. This is my core.
Naskal the Puppet Master, come out. Don't hide in the shadows.
Go away. If you won't, I will destroy you.
Answer me. What is your intention coming to the tower?
I did not come. I was brought here. I heard a voice whispering in my head. I saw a light, and then I was here.
I have seen your memories. The things that you've done. The lives you've destroyed. Everything. You lost yourself and became a monster.
Wrong. I never lost myself. That was all for the art. And what about all the things that you have destroyed coming here? And even before that, we are all sinners looking for an answer, hunter of shadows. The only difference is the reasons.
Come out. Let's put an end to this.
I will. You will be wonderful marionettes. Everything is for the art. You can't run. Come, my beautiful creations. You can't run. Everything is for the art. Come, my beautiful creations. Everything is for the art. I can see them in the theater, the marionettes. They are wonderful.
This power. Baby, what's happening?
The dream goes on. The little girl is still in the dark hallways of the heart of the Order of Nathaniel. Around her, there are dozens of sealed rooms which contain incomprehensible monstrosities that should not exist. The Inquisition brought the child there only a few hours ago. They said it was just for protection, to be sure that she was safe, although the truth is that they didn't know what to do with her. It was too dangerous to let her live, but she was still an innocent child. Even the most radical amongst them didn't want to kill her just because her blood was different. A blood that would empower any supernatural creature who fed on her. The Inquisition thought that her pursuers would not be able to enter the holy city of Nathaniel, so they would have time to decide what to do there. They were wrong. The little girl can't run anymore. The long hallway ends, and in the darkness, she finds a closed door. With her frail arms, the child opens it. She hopes that inside, she can finally hide from the things that follow her. Those who pursue her are the same monsters that had destroyed her village. The ones who took her parents away. The ones who stole the little world that she had known. Her small eyes look around the room. A chill runs through her body. It seems that no one has been there for a long time. But it is not empty. In the center, there is a book. And somehow, looking at it, she feels even colder than before. Ergo? What happened?
I'm not sure.
For a legendary godlike entity, you know very little.
I was near omnipotent, baby, not omniscient. Knowing too much always spoils the fun. My guess is that the core was linked to that entity. After we destroyed him, it couldn't hold itself together and collapsed. Following that, we reappeared in this place. I don't know why you lost consciousness. There's something else I want to tell you. Little girl, that power, the one you felt there?
What do you mean?
After kicking the ass of that guy, something came to me. I thought it was merely assimilating his essence, but it was more. I regained part of my power, my real power, the one I am unable to use, sealed in this book.
Why are you telling me this?
Honestly, I'm not very sure. I guess I just wanted to play fair with you. Or maybe I just wanted to freak you out a little. And the plan is?
You don't need to ask. We'll stick to our original goal.
I can't complain. This is becoming much more fun than I thought it could be.